been reading the news, and that's one of the reasons why I said we gotta have the session. You know, um, Bill Gates divorce, and then we got Kevin Samuels. You know, and what do you think? Kevin Samuel will say something like, "Hey, Bill Gates is a high value man, and high value men always exercise. They have options, and they exercise their options. So, looking at everything Bill Gates, the whole divorce thing, what do you think, like in the broad light? What do you think about, is he in control? Because there's so many stories behind it. Okay. And a lot of them could be like a cooked up story. A lot of them is just the news thing. You never know what's going on these days, because the news, the blogs, everyone just throws something out there just to stir things up. You don't know if it's true.
Yeah. Well,
you don't know if it's the real news,
Yeah. The first thing is, I think you're making 2 points, right?
Mm-hmm.
The first point is about high value, basically, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like everybody watched Kevin Samuel, basically, right? And
man.
The term high value is different, basically. Yes, you can have money, but you can still not be high value. That's the one point that people don't understand, right? Mm-hmm. Like the main important things about values. One, yes, having the money, also access to resources, right? Mm-hmm. Basically being the resources that people, like you're, as a man, you need to be the resource, basically, right? Mm-hmm. And the second component of being high value, you gotta have game, and people don't understand that.
Amen. Preach, bro.
And with that, when it comes to that, is the aspect of a game, you have to be surrounded by a lot of people, basically, right? Mm-hmm. Especially women, basically. Mm-hmm. You be a man, right? Mm-hmm. You can have a lot of money, right? And you don't know how to treat a woman, or you don't know like what it takes to get a woman. And you're gonna around you.
Sorry to cut you off, brother, but
they also
Wi-Fi is being,
and you're just reconsidered as simp.
Hello, you gotta have to see all those things again, because you're frozen and your Wi-Fi is glitching.
Sorry, can you repeat?
Yeah, everything you just talked about now, you would have to say it again. Because your video was frozen.
All right. Am I back?
Yes.
Yeah. So which point have you I mean, from what point where I was frozen at, basically?
Yeah, you said you were talking about high value man, you gotta have resources, you gotta have game. And having resources doesn't mean you have game.
Yes. Yeah, and with that, right, when it comes to having game, right, you have to surround yourself with people, basically, right? That's the value. When you're the resource, people are always gonna come after you. That's the point of it. When you're high value, everybody's looking for the resources, whether that's money, health, wealth, everything is resources. And as a man, it is your job to provide that resource. As a man, you become, and that's the thing about society that people don't understand. The job of a man is to provide the resources, and the job of a woman is to consume, right? And being high value, right? That term high value, like it means that you're able to basically, like if anything happens into tomorrow, right? Whatever the society that we live in right now, whatever happens tomorrow, right? You're able to go out there and produce, manipulate the environments or something like that. And that's one thing that people don't understand when it comes to the term high value. Yes, the money is one thing. That's depending on today's society, because everything relies on money, right? But being high value, you also have to have game, and that comes with communication, right? And also, now, the main reason why I focus on that when it comes to high values, right? People don't realize that, like, in order to have that money, right? You need to surround yourself. Like, I know I said you need to surround yourself with people, and that comes with being in meetings, dealing with people's egos, dealing with people coming into your company and thinking they know more than you, and you have to facilitate as the head or the boss of your company, basically, right?
Maybe we should. I like something you said. You said in the society, a man's job is to provide, right?
Yes.
And this is one area where I usually have this kind of I don't have like a smooth response. Now, the man's job, like when I was raised, you know, I was told the man's job is to provide, to protect, and to empower his family, right? Yeah. And then I asked, what's the woman's job? From what I understand, the woman's job is the woman is the nurturer, right? And the woman provides love and take care of the family. But what do you think about that? What do you think is the woman? And by the way, a lot of people will probably come for you and be like, you're not a woman. How do you know the woman's job? But I feel like if you're entering into any form of relationship and it's like two different people, if you don't have your roles, you know, clearly defined, one person will always feel like he's doing more than the other person because the roles, the scope of your responsibilities are not clearly stated. So I would like, and even if you're a part of the audience and you have the answer to this, like what's the primary function of the woman? Because you clearly stated that in society, the man's job is to provide. So what's the function of the woman? What's the woman's job?
So before I answer that, right, I need to clarify two things, right? The first thing is, right, nobody says like the gender role cannot, like I'm not saying gender role cannot flip, like in terms of like how society is changing right now, right? The only thing about the role is the point that we were making about this role is if you're gonna flip the role, right, in terms of women providing, right, you also have to like take on the aspect of the full role, basically. That's the only problem that people don't understand. Like what women, in terms of women, when it comes to their role, right, to nurture and to provide, right? Here's the thing that people don't understand. The reason why I say people like the manosphere, right, are targeting, like not targeting, but they are considered like the aggressive when it comes to women, right? The reason why they are deemed at this way is basically they understand that as a woman, right, only you can produce when it comes to like producing children, right? If there was a machine where allowed men to produce children, yes, the role would have been different, right? And I think this is what people don't understand. Like the job of the children, right? As a man, right? As a man, my child is considered like my jewel, basically, right? Right? Basically, this is my heir to my, like if I have a kingdom, this is my heir, right? So basically, I would like to have someone nurture that heir because as a man, I have to go out there. When I'm out there, right, I am making sure my family is protected, right? Bringing home resources, everything just for that child to nurture up and become their own man, right? Or their own woman, right? As I'm doing that, right, I need someone, right? I need someone to at least look after that and make sure that that children or that child, right, mindset is straight, right? They don't have no mental illness, or they're not mental illness, but in terms of like their head is in the right game, basically, right? And I believe that if you want, here's the problem: if a woman wants to provide, right, then the man has to be the one in the house, right? And I know this is outrageous, but a man has to be in the house and nurture the kids and make sure. The reason why, like, this role is important because one person has to go out there and the other one has to stay, right? And when we say stay, right, basically we're saying that they have to make sure like that my kingdom is good, basically, right? So if you want to switch the role, right, based on if you want to make more money, right, and you want to be the provider, you have to make sure you have to be willing to share your resources. That's the only problem when it comes to providing, like in that mindset.
Bro, man, you hitting the nail on the head. I know, man. You hitting the nail on the head much more than Kevin Sama. I was gonna say something. is it possible to have the role of a double provider in the relationship, whereby, well, if the man is getting it, the woman also can get it? Is it possible?
Talking about monogamy, basically.
I don't even know what it's called, because I know people have different names for different things these days, but I don't know what it's called. What I'm trying to bring out is, I believe in every relationship there has to be the role of a leader. The leader, someone who leads, someone who directs. And I don't think, now society has put it in such a way that, yeah, the male leads, right? But the male leading doesn't mean, oh, the woman is a subordinate. And this is one of the things Kevin Samuel talks about, that what the man is looking for is cooperation, not a subordinate. There are so many things that the man leads at, and there are so many things that the woman leads at. It's not like the man does everything, and it's not like, oh, the woman is my slave, or, yeah, I'm suffering. And I guarantee a lot of people will watch this and be like, no, you don't understand what the women are going through. And I completely understand that aspect as well. But what I'm trying to say is there a place for double leadership role, or they just have to agree that, okay, and this is where negotiation probably would have to come in, like, okay, I'll do the grocery, you do the cooking, all right? I'll take the kids to school on Mondays and Thursday, you take the kids to school on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. Like, it's just like negotiation. But there's this video I was watching, and there was this lady, Kevin Samuel's video. Kevin Samuel keeps popping up on every video this day. And he asked the lady, and the lady was like, I'm a girl boss, I'm a queen, I'm a diva, and this and that. And Kevin Samuel asked that, like, okay, where's the room for cooperation if you're the boss and you're the queen and you're the diva? How, if you're taking the leadership role from the man, or you forcing yourself to be the leader, what's the man going to do if you keep calling yourself the boss and the leader? And then he asked her, he was like, in which other culture do you see the woman call themselves, they're the queen, they're the diva, they're the boss? And I was like, give me a name. So let's talk around that. So let's take it from the double leadership role. What do you think? What are your thoughts?
My only thing is, right, when it comes to that double leadership, right, the problem with most, like, I'm going to do this in a business way, basically. Yes, you can have 4 leaders, right? The business corporation, right? But when it comes to making decisions, is it better to have 4 or 1?
Okay.
Right? And that's what people don't understand, right? When it comes to 4 people, yes, 2 people might agree with you, right? The other 2 might disagree with you. But in the end, you can make that decision, right? But the only thing that will cost you is your time. That's the thing people don't realize, right? When you're doing 4 leaders, right, it's gonna cost you time, right? And when it comes to a decision that you need to make in an instant, you need 1 person, right? And that's the problem when it comes to leadership, right? And when it comes to the concept of men being the leader or the women being the leader, I understand that society is changing, right? And when time changes, people change, basically, right? And I understand that going back then, that majority of the leadership role were men, right? And because back then men were the providers, right? My only thing when it comes to that, right, in terms of a women leadership is, right, if a woman wants to be the provider, right, right, you cannot have a man, right, that's also trying to lead with you, right? The problem with when it comes to the leadership role, when it comes to womenist, right? When it comes to that, right, they want a strong man also, right? If you want a strong man and you also want to be strong, that's disaster right there.
Amen. That's true, because I've worked in the retail, and I've seen this happen over and over again, whereby maybe you are, let's say you're a supervisor, okay, and they bring you into a spot whereby there is already another supervisor there. So it's the two of you are the boss. You have people that work underneath you, but then the two of you, as you have the same office, the same position, and then it becomes very toxic because this one is trying to pull rank, this one is trying to pull rank, and then it causes division because people that work under you will, if they see that you two don't cooperate, they will play you against each other. It's just human nature. I've seen it happen. The same thing is applicable in the family. If the man is the leader and the woman is like, I want to be the leader as well, there will be division. So there has to be cooperation whereby they will find ways to make it work. Either way, the whole house is coming down.
Yeah. But when it comes to the concept of men and women leadership, the reason why like people are against this, right? Because when it comes to the role of a man and a woman, right? Mm-hmm. The reason why I keep going back to that because we're two different things, right?
Yeah.
And most people don't realize that, right? A man can cut off his emotions, mm-hmm. right? A man can go with a logical answer, right? If I tell you right now, right? If I point a gun right now, right? And I said, you have to make this decision in 2 seconds, right? Mm-hmm. Left or right, right? Are you gonna start crying or you're gonna like isn't it in your natural instinct to cry or is it in your natural instinct to pick left or right?
It depends on the situation. What's in the left and what's in the right?
What I'm saying is I didn't give you no decision.
I'll go underneath the gun because you have a gun.
I literally just came up to you, right? And I feel right.
I'm just.
I mean, like in terms of like
find out what's going on, you know. But but definitely, the first decision that I will make is a decision that will keep me alive.
Keep you alive, yes, right?
That's the first thing that comes to my mind because you have a gun pointed at me. I'm thinking of, do I have to talk my way out of this? Do I have to take the gun from him? Do I have to jump into the bush?
But always,
survival, right? Yeah, survival. You know, and that's the whole base of human nature. The two things that we do is survival and reproduction. Yes. I think, and this is not even personally, this is something from a prehistoric standpoint. Men and women are different.
Yes.
They can't do the same thing. That's just the truth. Forget about everything you've seen on TV. A woman cannot be pregnant and be raising kids and be working full-time job and be taking care of the family at the same time.
Yes.
It's ridiculous. I mean, maybe some people are doing it. Kudos to them. But if you look at it from a prehistoric standpoint, when there was no technology,
yes.
Okay, when people were living in the cave house,
yes.
underneath the stone, you can't have a woman that's still healing from like childbirth, now trying to go and hunt and farm and gather food for the family. That's the man's job. That is why the woman stays to protect the family, to take care of the family, while the man goes out to hunt and gather. But that is, like I said, from a prehistoric standpoint, which I still think, because it's human nature, it's what's still existing today. The same thing is applicable when a woman, you're kind of human being, a life inside you. You can't say, oh, you'll be as functional as, or you want to like compete with a man when you are heavy, when you're this heavy. Maybe once again, some people can't do it, but the truth is there is always this variation. You can choose to believe what you want. Biology doesn't lie. You know, reality doesn't lie. That is it.
The only thing I have against that is, right, mm-hmm. I understand how society is changing, right? Mm-hmm. Right? And the only reason why this discussion is like considered new or is considered like the main discussion of today right now is because, as we can see, the price and the housing market are changing, right?
Okay.
People realize that when it comes to the housing market, right, the price to buy a new home is a lot compared to what it was 2 years ago, 5 years ago, 10 years ago. Every year it's getting higher and higher, right?
Okay.
Right now, owning a house, right, or owning an asset is a lot compared to what it was before, right? Okay. And as this going on right now, people cannot live on one income, right? Mm-hmm. People cannot live on one income. And because of that, I feel like that's the reason why the gender roles are now correlated, basically. The gender roles are now not flipping, but like they're now being targeted, right? Because as more people make money in terms of society, right? The more the housing market, the more bills, the more everything increase, right? And because of that, the people who are not fortunate, right? They need to rely on two people basically just to make the amount just to pay that one housing market, right? And that's the reason why the gender roles are now, basically correlating, right? But when it comes to this topic of men being the leaders, the women being the leaders, I feel like, yes, they can change, right? That's my personal opinion, right? I feel like it can change, right? Right? But only if women's, or like, not women, but basically the people who want to change it, right? If they're willing to take on the full role of the man, basically, right? Because as a man, right, if I'm making $100,000, right, 100K a year, right, I don't care if my woman is making 5,000 or whatever. I take care of that, right? As a man, right, I wouldn't care for that. But as a woman, right, I can see from talking for most women that I know, right, they want to date somebody that's making more than them, basically. Right? And with that mindset, you cannot settle down for someone that's making less. And that's the only problem with that.
Wait, you're saying the woman or the man cannot settle down?
The woman.
The woman cannot settle down. So does this mean the higher the income of the woman, the lesser the opportunity of dating they have?
Yeah, I mean, from this
the
point,
higher the income, so the way it is because that's the way it sounds to me, like the more money a man makes, the more access to a relationship he has. But the more money the woman makes, you said they need to date higher. But now a lot of guys don't date a lot of guys don't make as much money as this woman as you're going higher. Because if you do like a comparative analysis of the high value man and high value woman, it's about the 1% of the men that makes more than six figures. Majority of the men make around $60,000. They don't make six figures, let's put it that way. So it's like 5%. But then if you look at the percentage of the woman that's making more money because they go into school now and everything, it's much more increasing. So does that mean that their opportunity to date more high value men keeps decreasing, and there's something that needs to be done?
No, my only thing is, right, I'm not saying like, what I'm saying is, right, the mindset that I see people that's around my age, right, especially women around my age, they want to date people that's higher, right? I'm not saying that this is for all women, right? But what I'm saying is, right, majority of the women that I know, they want to date somebody that's higher, right? And if they want to continue this mindset, right, and if they wish to continue this mindset, right, it's just limiting their pool of men, right? If they they're making higher and they want to date down, it's a lot of men that's making less right now. Right? But I see that 40% of Black men are in the middle class, I think. Last time I checked,
40% in the middle class.
Yes, right. But there are also men that are making less. If they wish to settle for men, they will have a lot of pool, the same pool as men, right? But if they continue this mindset, getting higher, they will have less. So if they keep chasing the high value men, they will have less. They continue to, if they don't chase the high value man, they will have more. But I don't think.
Can we clarify something? What are the qualities of a high value man, and what are the qualities of a high value woman?
All right.
I wish we had a lady on the show to tell us the quality of a high value woman at this point. but let's see if we could tackle that. Let me see.
All right.
Yeah. Okay.
Right. I would say a quality of a high value man is one, he's able to provide.
Okay.
He's able to communicate, right? And I feel like the communication aspect comes from his work, basically, right? His ability to provide, right? Right. And also, right, the only thing I would say his compass, basically, his mindset, basically.
Okay.
It's competitive mindset, right? And people don't realize that, right? Because you could make $72,000, right? 72K a year, right? You're like, hey, I'm high value. No, that's not, because your mindset is just remaining at that price, right? If you wish to continue and go up, right, that would consider you as a high value. That's what the competitive mindset is, right? That is my version of a high value man, right?
How about the 6 figures earning?
I feel like when it comes to the 6 figures, right, the reason why people, like, I don't consider them, like, now I'm not saying that all 6 figures persons are not high value, right? I say majority of them, they can be high value, right? It's based on their ability to communicate, right?
Okay. And initially you said game, so are we tying game and communication together?
Yes.
Okay. So you gotta have game. I like games more than communication. So I live for the game.
Yes, because you gotta know how to talk to women, bro.
Yeah.
You can be that broke dude that's making $10,000 a year, and yet
no more game, man.
That's it's all the women care about. It's about game, because you gotta keep the conversation going. And with that in mind, right? You don't mind if we move into the Bill Gates conversation right now?
Yeah, yo, man, the Bill Gates thing it's steaming hot. Because right now, Melinda Gates is single and she's on the dating market. So, guys, feel free to holler at Melinda Gates. I don't know what her Instagram is, but make sure you send her a DM. Send her a DM. But yeah, I don't know what might have led to it. This is a stipulation that I don't really know Melinda Gates that much, but from what I've seen, I can tell she's very ambitious. Yes. She's a go-getter.
Yes.
She is. If the conversation, every time I see Melinda Gates and Bill Gates sitting together, you could tell that she's almost like the alpha in the relationship. Yes, so probably before Bill Gates, he's a billionaire. You don't probably see each other very well, and then he travels around the world. There's this article that came out that Bill Gates used to spend a week with his former ex or his ex-girlfriend, and that was approved by his wife. So maybe before let's say pre-COVID, that was what usually happens. He travels around the world, he spends a week with his ex-girlfriend, and then boom, there's COVID. Okay, and now you have Bill Gates and Melinda Gates in the same house, and Melinda Gates has a big ego, and Bill Gates is like, I'm Bill Gates, I'm the richest man in the world for almost like 20 years. You can't talk to me like this. And before you know it, they both keep going head on, and they're bumping heads, and they're like, you know what, let's divorce. But this is just a stipulation, because there's so many stories out there. A lot of people are saying, oh, there's this COVID conspiracy theory about Bill Gates. They're like, oh man, that Gates is tired of the conspiracy. So many things are happening, but we can still chunk it down to the human nature, to the relationship nature, to understanding, what's going on. Like, how do you handle something like this? You've been dating for 27 years, okay? I don't think there's a playbook for this. You've been dating for 27 years, and now, boom, there's a divorce. You've been in love with each other. You have a foundation together, Bill and Melinda Gates. Your name is out there. There's so many people that are looking up to you guys. And now, boom, divorce after 27 years. The first question that comes to my mind is marriage even still worth it? After seeing that, do you even want to get married again? Because if money can't keep Melinda Gates in the house, billions, we're talking about billions, what's the guarantee that your 6 figures can keep any woman in the house?
Well, like, that's what I said when it comes to the game.
Even when it comes to game, this guy has run the game for 27 years and it still ends.
Yeah, but I understand. But when it comes to Bill Gates, right? This is the problem when people don't understand, right? When it comes to game, right? You don't have to have the game is not the money aspect of it. I think that's what most people like see it as, right? Right? The game is being able to like have a conversation with a woman, right? And being able to like know what the woman, like basically the type of woman she is, right? What does she want, right? Basically, what is she bringing, right? And you can know like what you can get out of it, right? That's being like you being able to identify that. That's you having game, basically, right? You knowing what the woman like you're speaking to, what type of woman she is, right? Basically, what you can get out of her, right? Basically, and how you can keep the conversation going. That's all that's all part of the game, right? But the reason why we get this misunderstanding is basically we believe that everybody that has money has game, based because they have money, right?
Yeah, because they have the appearance of money. When you see someone that has money, you could tell. If someone pulls up in a Lamborghini, he doesn't have to say a word. His appearance is speaking for him. You know, and that could enhance his game
I'm here now.
a little bit. You know, that could enhance his game a little bit. He might not even have game when you talk to him in person, but the appearance is there.
Yeah, but the problem with that, right? Here's the thing. What do you think is the most important thing for a man? Is it his money or his status? Which one?
Wait, is it his money or what? Or his status? They both play to each other. Money and status playing to each other.
No. Money can get you the status that you need, right? Basically, for a man, a status is important, right? You can gain a status, you can have that status without having a lot of money, but it's based on your reputation, right?
Yes.
The problem is, right? Bill Gates, right? Being Microsoft, right? He has that high status, right? And because of that, right? I think that's what she sees it as, right? She sees it being Bill Gates, right? Being the billionaire, the fourth richest person, right? Being the billionaire, right? That's the status, right? But now that, you know, with COVID, right? You know, as the high value man, you won't be in your house a lot, right? But when it comes to COVID, right? It's bringing people back, right? Instead of going out there, you're basically home, basically, right? So now she is able to see him for him, basically, right? Instead of seeing him for being Bill Gates as the high, basically, right? Now she sees him for being him, right? And now she understands that she can't respect him. That's the main reason, right? The reason why I say game, right? Because game, it tells you that you understand the woman, right? And you understand what you have to do to maintain that respect, right? And with money, right? It gets you to that status, right? But it won't get you to that game, right? You need to have that game. And I feel like Bill Gates himself, like look at Bill Gates. Be real. If me, you, and Bill Gates were standing right next to each other, right? What would you consider him? A frat boy, or what would you consider him, bro?
He's a nerdist, man. And look,
a nerd, right? You would consider him as.
So,
thank you. That's the problem.
But the thing is, you know, as men, we don't see things as women. So for me, for example, I'm a team builder, okay? And when I'm building a team, I think everyone is important. The nerd, the gamer, the rich boy, the dull boy, the introvert, the extrovert. I think everyone has a role to play. The same thing with the nerd. Even though he's a nerd, he has a lot to offer. And so he's still a member of the team. So it's the same thing in a relationship. A relationship is a team of two people. One person can't just be the one shouldering the entire responsibility. I don't care if Melinda Gates is the Miss World. She can't pull it off by herself. There is still something Bill does that she can't do. And the same thing is applicable. There are things that Melinda will do that Bill cannot do. So for the team to function, they need to talk about their differences and make it work, which is the hardest thing for most people to do in this generation, into this world. No one wants to work it out anymore. Everyone just wants to divorce and stay in their separate way and just make marriage look like a horrible thing to the younger generation, which I think sucks.
Okay. So wait, going back to your question about you believe that marriage, like, is it good to be?
Hmm?
Be married, right? That was your previous question, right?
I said what?
Right?
Yeah, I said, is marriage even still worth it?
I said, yes, is marriage still worth it, right?
Mm-hmm.
My opinion, it is, right? And the reason why I would give you this, reason, right?
Mm-hmm.
In terms of society, right, it is better to be married than single, right? You gain all the tax benefits, right? All of that benefit, basically, the Medicare benefit, the joint bank account, everything, right? The benefit of that, right? And that right there will like be a good asset for your family and generation on. That's the benefit in terms of society, right? But in terms of like the individual, right? I feel like that's the one thing that we're able to see right now. Basically, we're seeing the flaws through the individual, right? Because we're seeing that like the foundation of marriage, right, is you being with one person, right, for the rest of your life, right? And I feel like because of social media, right, social media right now is causing marriage to be separated because people are able to see other options. Like, you get it?
People
like,
have options.
Yeah.
You're a lady, you post like your half naked pictures, you have 200 guys sending you DMs every day, and then you stay with this guy and you're sick of this guy. What's stopping you from responding to one of those 200 guys?
Thank you. That's how it is. That's the only downturn for marriage, right? But it is beneficial to get married for the tax and the society aspect of it, right? But in terms of the individual, nah. Mainly because technology has ruined it, because we're able to see many options. That's the only problem with marriage, right? In my opinion, I will get married, but
whatever happens, right? You know what my mentor would say when we ask
happens.
You know, when you ask one of my mentor, like, how's your marriage going? He's been married for like 11 years now, but then he's like, anything can happen, you know? And when you ask him, how's your marriage going? He's like, we're taking it 1 year at a time. Because we all
don't realize, like, marriage is not like a joint relationship. Like, when you're married, you're constantly working on it. That's the problem with marriage. People will be like, oh, I got the girl right here. I don't have to do nothing no more, right? Because when you're in a relationship, you're always constantly trying to keep each other happy. Trying to keep each other happy.
When they get married, they stop going to the gym.
Thank you. They stop going to the gym. They stop looking good for the next partner, basically, right? Down for it. And the reason why, like, that's starting to, like, that's starting to being shown now is because, in social media, we have these, ladies can go get their body done, right? They can always look, beautiful, right? Basically, right? But now you can see with social media, they can, we can all see different women at our age that's looking at different, different appearance. And because of that, that's the reason why marriage is not beneficial. But,
it's
depends
crazy.
On what you want, man.
It's crazy. Yeah, I mean, if you find someone that's willing to cooperate with you, then, because, in the long run, you could build something stronger with a couple that cooperates with you, or with a partner that cooperates with you. You could have a family, and you'll be happy in the long run. You won't be in your 50s. Like, there was this video of Vivica Fox, for example, and she's 50 years old, and she did a lot of things. She was a key actress, lead actress in multiple films, very beautiful. She dated 50 Cent, I believe, and she was on a TV show, and she was 50 years old, and she was asked, like, what's your biggest regret in life? And without even thinking twice, she said, my biggest regret is not having a child. And for her to just have spilled it without thinking, do you know how many times that thought has run across her mind? Like, man, I was doing all this film, I was doing the girl boss, whatever, and now I'm 50, and I can't have no child of mine. A lot of people will be like, oh, you could adopt, you could get a dog, you could do so many things. It's still not your child. There's this Jewish proverb that says, before every man leaves the world, a man should do 3 things. Write a book, plant a tree, and have a son.
Right.
Okay? So writing a book is like, men, we're all about legacy. You said something like that, you're a king, you walk in on your stuff, but then you need someone to take care of your king as it's growing as well. That's your legacy, and you want to document everything. That's the book part of it. Planting a tree back then would be like, maybe you have a farm, which can be almost like starting a business in today's world, or entrepreneurship, something that after you're done, the business lives on after you, right? And then have a son. It's still all about legacy. But the moment we take marriage out of it, for you to be able to do, especially the have a son part, it means you need to have a child outside wedlock, or maybe, I don't know, maybe you get married at a very late age, and maybe when you're 50, that's when you're having your first kid. It's just, everything into this society is just like trying to find its new form of evolution, whereby, back in the days when you're 20, when you're 25, you're supposed to have been married, or at least be ready to get married. But now you see people with 35, a lot of people at 35, 40, they're not even thinking about it. They're like, nah, I'm fine. A lot of people don't want to get married. A lot of people don't want to get into that kind of entanglement. They just want to live, which is fine. But then for some people that also want to get married, it's difficult for them because of everything happening. If you watch Kevin Samuel's video, I've never seen a lady on Kevin Samuel's video that comes in and says, I'm a girl boss, I'm a this, I'm a that, I'm the woman of my life, whatever. And then if Kevin Samuel asks, do you want to get married? I've never seen a woman that said no. Never. Like, yeah. I've never seen it. If he asks them, do you want to have kids? I haven't seen a woman that will say, yes, no, I don't want to have kids. I'm still looking for that, but I've never seen it. Which means, even though all these things is happening, they still have it at the back of their mind to do what is almost right by nature, which is having a family and having children. But then we are like openly doing things to not make it happen. But then in our mind, we want it to happen, which is us causing some kind of trauma for ourselves. Because we want it to happen, but everything we do, everything we invent, every form of technology is preventing it from happening. So we have a society of people that are like suffering from like a mass depression, so to say. I don't know. It's just funny.
Yeah, I completely agree, bro. But the reason, I understand that majority of the people that I speak to want to get married, right? The only problem with it, the thing is, right, being married is not only being able to compromise, right, but it's also being able to know what's your role, basically, right? And I feel like because of this, most people don't know their role, right?
Yeah, that's one thing that needs to be clearly defined.
Yep, they don't know their role, right? And that role comes with, if you're gonna be the provider, there has to be one provider. Not one provider, but there has to be.
I mean, you can't be bumping, if I'm the provider, you can't be bumping heads with me in the family. I'm like, what's going on? Can we have a family meeting?
If you want to switch role, we can switch.
You want to switch role, that's fine.
That's fine, but you got to take on the full aspect of it.
Yeah. So, my favorite part of Kevin Samuel's show? The rating. Yeah. What do you think about his rating?
Yeah, I love that one.
Talk to me, bro. Because a lot of people don't. A lot of females don't like his rating.
Yeah.
And a lot of guys love his rating because there's so many guys out there that think women have this. Women like living in fantasy, and we have a society that pedestalizes women and tells them, you're young, you're a queen, you can have everything that you want.
Everybody's attention.
Man, you can't have it. Nope. You can't always have everything you want. You got to be able to maneuver your way. You got to be able to negotiate. You have to be able to cooperate. You have to be able to communicate and and not resent. Oh, if you want something, you don't get it, and you're full of resentment. No, you have to face the reality of the world. But let's talk about ratings. Because I've seen what you think about when you ask, do you do it? Do you do this thing? When Kevin Samuel is talking and be like, rate yourself on a scale of 1 to 10. Before the lady says anything, do you as a son, do you in your mind say, means you're a 4? And then the lady just opens her mouth and says, I'm an 8. And then you're like, bro.
Yup. That is true. That is true. I think, like, when it comes to rating, right? The problem with rating, right? I mean, when it comes to this, right? I feel like it's just most women, when they feel like they're wearing makeup, right? That increased their rating, basically, right? When it comes to makeup, yes, it increased your ability when it comes to taking a photo, right? Taking a photo, we look at your makeup and all of that, right? But without the makeup, like, even if you wear makeup, still have to come back in the house, have sex with you, and I can see your face, right? Like, without the makeup. I have to see that for the rest of my life, right? If we're married, I have to see that for the rest of my life, right? Makeup has nothing to do with it, right? And I feel like that's the reason why they believe that they're rated. Yes, you can look like an 8 with makeup on. Nothing wrong with that, right? But you're still a 6, right? Without it, right? That's the only problem I feel like most women have when it comes to it. Because, you know, makeup increase their look and everything, right? And because of that, they feel like they're on Beyonce level. Like, I'm gonna be real.
Come on, get out of here, man.
I'm gonna be real with you. I don't think Beyonce is a 10, bro. I don't.
No, Kevin Samuel says Beyonce is an 8.
Yeah.
He says Rihanna is a 9. Yeah. And then you have ladies that come out there and be like, oh, I'm an 8. And Kevin Samuel is like, Miss, are you telling me you're on the same level as Beyonce? You know? So I feel like every time Kevin Samuel says you're a 6 or you're a 5, or even if you're a 7, I think it's so being lenient so it doesn't get backlash. Because if Beyonce is an 8, half of these ladies are like 4. But then they just want to say,
they don't understand.
They just want to say I'm 6 because 6 is like above average.
This is what they don't understand, right? When you're taking a test, right? If you get a 50, right? That means you did, like, out of 100, that's an average, right? They don't understand. Average doesn't mean bad or good, right? Average means you're in the middle. Most people are average, bro. Nothing wrong with that. Their status, their money elevate them to a certain ranking, right? But without that money, they're still average, right? And as a man, we look at physical things, basically, right? We look at the woman physically, right? She's attractive, she's beautiful. That's the first thing that comes in my mind. I don't care about her money, nothing, right? Right? If she's wearing makeup, right? I have to say, like, if I'm on Instagram and she's wearing makeup, I gotta see her without the makeup, right? Right? But that's the thing that most people don't understand about the rating, bro. The rating, right? It matters because you need it. You need the rating because
it's a reality check.
You need to rate everything that we do. When you go in the corporate, when you go in your job, right? And they tell you, you have to look at this percentage, right? You have to cut your hair, right? Wear a suit, right? They also rating you at a professional level, right? They need you to be at a professional. That's also part of rating, right? They don't understand when it comes to the dating market, it's the same thing. Rating is the rating, bro.
Yeah, I like what you just said when you said something about your job that's professional. You said something about the market, and it kind of, do you know this guy called Dr. Omar?
Dr. Omar?
Yeah.
Nah.
Dr. Omar, I mean, it's not like I've known him before, but I've been seeing videos about him. So I was watching those videos, and he's this guy that tells black women and that black men are queen, they are goddess, and they should be worshipped. And I saw your face, bro. I'm like, bro, what's wrong with you, man? But yeah, but that's what it's saying. So he took several shots at Kevin Samuel. He says Kevin Samuel and some 12 other dude, that they're evil, they're bad because they're profiting off downgrading women. And but do you think what Kevin Samuel is doing, do you think it's a form of downgrading the woman? Do you think that's the case? Or do you think Dr. Umar is just a sore, bitter guy?
Yeah, no, like I'll be real with you, right? Because I feel like Kevin Samuel is actually speaking with everybody. Like most
Everyone
men
is
want to
thinking,
hear,
right?
basically. What we want to
Mm-hmm.
Yes, he's speaking it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Problem is, right? They want him to say it in a. Here's a problem. When you go to the job, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Let's say if you're in a job, right? If you're looking terrible, your boss just come up to you and say, "Yo, you're looking terrible. Go home," or something like that, right? They're not gonna tell you in a nice tone, right? This is my profession, right? Right? The women's are coming to his profession. They're coming to his platform, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right? And they want him to speak in a lower tone. That does not make sense. Mm-hmm. No matter where you go, right? Whatever profession is, right? If you're entering a person home or a person workspace, right? Mm-hmm. You cannot dictate the way they speak, right? Mm-hmm. And that's the problem that most people have. That's the only backlash that I hear that they have of him. They're saying his tone, the way he's addressed. No, he's speaking the way that we say. As a man, we would
try to talk over him.
I'll give you. I have a question. Have you went to school and they tell you, "Yo, you ugly"?
Multiple times.
Thank you. Well, as a man, if you're looking ugly, they will tell you you're ugly.
Like I can't remember. I've had so many nicknames back in the days, and it was like, because when I was young, we traveled around a lot, so I went to multiple elementary schools, and every single elementary school that I've been to, I always have a nickname. It's a nickname about my look, or about the way I talk, or about how I'm dressed, or maybe it might just be the very first word. I remember in the school, the very first, someone just asked me, "What was your previous school before coming over here?" And I told them the name of the previous school, and that became my nickname for the next 2 years in that school. You know, so what I'm trying to bring out is, people will say so many things about you, the way you talk, your looks, your this. It doesn't define you in any way, unless you're the type that seeks validation from people, by all means. And there's this saying that if you live off the praise of people, you will die of their criticism, because you don't have your own standards, you know.
But like, when it comes to the rating with that, right? When it comes to the rating, right? Mm-hmm. If he's telling you your face right now, right? What you're doing, like he's the man of you. He's the man of resources, right? Mm-hmm. He's telling you at this point, right? I would not accept you as a 10 because you're looking like this, right? Mm-hmm. He's giving you the advice to boost your way up. That's the people. Mm-hmm. That's the thing that people don't understand, right? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. When it comes to the rating, he's saying you look like this. Here's what you can do. You can improve it. If you're overweight, you look like a 6 or a 5 in the face, you can lose some weight, right? Or improve your overall, right? Basically, your present. You can improve your present to get to that 10, right? I'm not saying everybody's a 10. It's based on your mindset.
Let me ask you
somebody.
Question.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So you said if you're dating a girl and then you probably met maybe on Instagram, for example, and all you've seen is her picture on Instagram with makeup, and you want to see her in person, and if she shows up in person looking, maybe on Instagram she looks like a 7 or an 8, and in person without makeup she looks like a 4, are you going to keep the relationship going?
In person?
Mm-hmm. In person she looks like a 4, and then online she looks like an 8. If you finally meet in person, are you going to keep the relationship going?
So wait, you said in person she looked like a 4. Mm-hmm. Online she's like an 8, right? No, because it got to be physically at that moment.
Okay.
But I'm telling you, at that moment, so when I'm looking at that moment, she look good, I'm going for it. If not, I'm not gonna. We don't care about their status. That's the problem. That people don't understand. Men don't care about your status, woman. We don't care.
Mm-hmm.
We don't care about your status.
Mm-hmm.
We care about how you look. If, to be honest, would you date a girl that's overweight, right?
No.
If I would, you wouldn't, right? Like, think about it. When you're in the dating market, right? You're saying, hey, I'm ready. I'm ready somebody to take me, right? That means you're 100%. You're at 100%. You're confident with the way you look right now, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're telling yourself you're 100% ready, right? And if somebody is telling you, hey, I don't think you're ready because I wouldn't date you at this level, right?
Mm-hmm.
What that means is you can take that as consideration, right? But if you're going to a professional like Kevin Samuel, right? He's an image consultant, right?
Mm-hmm.
That is his profession, right? It's not like he's there just to look at women and just say, yo, I want to date you. No, he's telling you what you can do to improve and appeal to other people, right? So as an image consultant, you're going to a professional, right? And he's telling you this is what you need to do, right? You have to take it consideration to get to a 10, right? Basically, accountability. Basically, you have to take that as a consideration for accountability to get to that 10, right? And like if I see a girl right now, right, and she's looking like a 4, but on her Instagram is the 8, I would not date her because she needs to look at an 8 at that moment that I speak.
But you know, you in today's society, as a man, if you have a standard, there's a tendency of people calling you a misogynist because you have a standard. Because now they're like, oh, are you trying to? Because I have a very high standard, and I've had a bunch of women tell me, why are you setting all those hurdles for women to jump through? And before, when they see that you have so much standard, they try to, like, shame you for it or talk you down, like you're not supposed to have standard. And if you check women, there's a video that I have on my YouTube channel of Steve Harvey, of a lady that's like, this is a standard. She has over 50 lists. And society will be like, oh man, yeah, cool. The ladies will be like, oh yeah, she has a standard. But if you're a man and you're like, my standard's simple, you can't be less than 6, you can't be fat, you can't talk over me, whatever. Those are men standards. And we didn't define the characteristics of a high quality woman. But as a man has his own standard, but then there's a tendency of you being shamed for having standard. Not everyone does that, because I've met women that are like, it's a good thing that you have standard. But I've met some women that are like, no, you shouldn't be having standard because women can't jump through all these standards that you're setting for them. And I don't think any man should care about that, personally. I don't think any man should really care about that. But what do you think about, men setting standards and the possible backlash that might come from it, from you having standards? Because right now you just said, oh, she's 8 and then you see her in person, she's 4, you're like, I can't keep it going. That's a standard right there. And some women will be mad at you for doing that. They're like, why are you playing with her feelings? And they will come with some quotes like, a man that's not ready to love a woman but awakened her love is a coward. They usually have strong quotes.
Yeah, I've been getting that. I understand that. Basically, I've been hearing that from a lot of people. Basically, the thing is about standards, right? People don't understand. Anybody based on like the way they present themselves. If they don't meet your criteria, you won't take them, right? Standards, everybody has standards, right? Mm-hmm. The problem that people are facing right now is women are saying, hey, I can have my standards, but you can't.
Mm-hmm.
And that is wrong.
That is unacceptable.
Thank you.
For a high value man, that's unacceptable.
But even that would be even 10 times worse, because he works his way up to get there, right?
Mm-hmm.
He worked his way up to
take
And now he has to say, hey, because I'm up here, you have to bring yourself down there. You have to bring yourself down here just to meet me. I mean, you already made yourself all the way up there. That's not how it works. We live in a capitalist society, bro. It's competition, right? You want the best quality men to mate with? He has to have the best quality women to mate with. That's how it goes. No matter whatever animal kingdom that you go to, wherever you go to, that's how it is. That's how the world works. You can go to Disneyland. You can go look at Mickey Mouse, Minnie Mouse, whatever you believe in. Princess and the Frog, whatever. That's not how life works, bro. Standards, man. Standards. Everybody has it. Get over it.
Wake up to reality.
Reality. Get over it. That's it. That's all I can say. Get over it.
That's crazy, man. That's crazy.
Yep.
You know, it's just funny how, you know, someone like Kevin Samuel says those things that's almost like on, you know, in the mind of every guy, you know. And the funny thing that, because every time he publishes a video, I go through all this comment section and I read all the comments, and I keep seeing people, you know, I see single people listen to Kevin Samuels, and I see people in relationship, and I even see married couples, you know, posting comments, you know, underneath his videos. And one of the things that the married couples, you know, usually say is, I'm so glad I'm watching this, and I'm so thankful that my partner, my wife, doesn't have these characteristics of these girls that come on Kevin Samuel's show, because they've seen life, they've seen the truth, they've seen the reality, and they know what's going on. And the way these people that come on his shows, the way they take life, it's almost like they're still like 14 years old in the, you know, in the it's like someone with a 14-year-old mind in the body of like a 28-year-old, you know, human being. You know, it's just, I don't know. I'm sometimes surprised that people think like that.
Yeah, that's how society has changed, man. Society has changed. People don't realize the way you've been brought up is not the same way that other people have, right? And majority of the people, right? Like, let's say this, right? In the Black community, right? I'm gonna bring it to there, right? Single women, there's a lot of single women, single mom, basically, right? It's a lot of single moms that are taking care of the household, right? Right? But the most thing people don't ask is, why aren't there men there, right? When you ask the women, why aren't the men there? The first thing you will say, oh, he's a bum, right? He's a bum, right? That's the first thing that comes out of their right? But what people don't realize, Black men are in the middle class, 40%, right? So why are the men leaving, right? Why are the men are leaving? And you can have you have all of these standards. You need a guy that's 6 feet tall, right? That's making $100,000, right? Right? And yet you're single, while the other people, their standards are low, right? They have standards. Don't get me wrong. They have standards, but their standards are low. They just want somebody that's fit, cooperative, right? And that's feminine, right?
That's the quality of the high value woman.
That's in Kevin Samuel look. That's characters of a high value woman, right? But as you can see,
so that's a character in Kevin Samuel's world, but in the other, let's say in the female callers world, what's the characteristic of the high value woman in most of this callers world? They believe the characteristic of the high value woman is a woman that's a PhD, right? And 6 figures, right? And can do whatever she wants. They believe that's high value. And one of the things that Kevin Samuel is trying to get them to understand is that it's not even this complicated. Men don't even look at your we don't look at your qualifications.
Yeah. I think it's just education, man. Just education. Education is the reason why, because I'm a philosophy major, right? Right? I study philosophy and law, right? And majority of the time, when it comes to debating in class, it's women.
Okay.
Right? When I'm looking through class, I can see the women's are the most one that are engaging. They're ready to debate, right? And that's understandable, right? Because that's the topic. That's the way, society has ruled us, right? Women's are now more educated than men, right? In terms of degree, right? I'm not talking about IQ or nothing, right? Because that's a different debate. I know the results for that, right? But in terms of like, there's more women that are educated, making more money than men, right? And now, because of that, their standards are higher because they always look for higher people, right?
And that's understandable.
Yep, that's understandable. Hey, nothing wrong with that, right? What I'm saying is, when you realize that there's less men and you have to compete, you can compete for those men or lower your standards. Nothing wrong with lowering your standards. That doesn't mean it's the end of the world. You're gonna die. No, just lower your standards so you can get someone to end up with. Because everybody want to have. Because before you die, thank you. Everybody want.
What do you think about? Do you think it's possible whereby, now that we know that the women want the high value man, right? And it's like the 90% of the woman population wants the 10% of the high value man population. So we have 90% of women wanting 10% of men. Do you think we'll get to a world whereby women will start competing openly with themselves, like, no, that's my man, and then they start fighting over the high value man? Because I really want that to happen. I want to see that happen. I'm a man of peace, by the way. I want to see that. I just want to see where this is going, honestly. I'm interested to see where this leads to.
Yeah, I do want to see where it's going, but the problem is, right, the men that are not in that 10% are dealing with this because they cannot get there. Right? I'm not saying they not like.
I think it's a benefit for the men that are not even in the 10% too, because it makes you want to hustle.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, it does make you want to hustle, but the only thing is, right? What that is, right? I mean, as a society, you're gonna have that one dude that has like 50 kids, right? Doesn't matter, right? And society is gonna benefit from that, right? It's gonna get us to make more, right? It's gonna get us to compete more. But my only thing is, right, when we get to that level, right, we're not gonna have the same mindset that we had when we were on the lower level, basically, right? You want a guy that commit to you, right? Go lower your standards, right? Because if we as a man make that money up there, we're gonna be sleeping with multiple women, right? Because we got up there. That level is so low, right? Yes, it's gonna get us to compete more, and that's I like that because it's a capitalist society. You gotta compete, or you just gotta die over. That's how it is, right? But
imagine this hypothetical socialist society whereby the government is the one that legislates the man and the woman. It's like, okay, once you're 18, you guys, because it's a socialist society, is that ever possible whereby the government tells you who to marry? Because this is now for example, in China, the government tells you how many kids to have. You can't have more than one kid or more than two kids.
Yeah.
It's so the government is literally telling you what to do, how to live your life.
I think that's the future, bro. That's literally the future. I really believe that's the future that's coming up.
And I hope we don't get there. Before then, maybe I have like my 7 kids. Before the government start telling us what to do with our family.
Well, hey, we gotta get rid of these pookies and women now. Hey.
Oh my goodness.
Bro, that's what it's all about, the game, man. Yep. That's how it is, man. But I like how it's going, man. It's causing me to want to do more, to get to that level where I can provide and also maintain that game. So I love it, man.
Yeah.
The only thing is, right? The only thing with that, right? With women, right? The only problem I have with this is, right? Don't complain about it. You started this game, right? One, this high value men, right? Us men has to get up there in order to get you, basically. Now when we're up there and we don't want you, and we want not just you, but we want you and somebody else, you're mad because you set the rules. That's how the game is.
And that's what Kevin Samuel said, like high value men have option and they exercise their options.
Yeah. I believe that. I just feel bad for us lower men right now because society is trying to take away
whooping all of us.
Trying to take away our masculinity. You ever watch Andrew Che on the Fresh and Fit? Andrew Che interview on Fresh and Fit? You have to watch that. Masculinity, man. Toxic masculinity. I believe everything, man.
You know, on the topic of masculinity, number one thing I can get super harsh when I'm talking about masculinity. Number one thing is I don't discuss masculinity with women. I don't think it's just like you when you're talking to a woman that's like maybe she's a hardcore feminist and you're like, oh, but women are supposed to do this, and they're like, no ovaries, no opinion, or no vagina, no opinion. That's how I handle masculinity. Like a lot of these things coming from people that call masculinity toxic. They don't even know the masculinity archetypes. They don't know what it means to be a man, but they are giving opinions. So to me, I'll just listen to it as an opinion, but I don't think they've taken the time to deep dive into the masculinity archetype. Because when you know something, it doesn't become strange to you, one, and then you know how to deal with it. If you know the kind of guy that you're with, and you know the kind of archetype that he is, he wouldn't be a toxic masculine. In fact, you will be the one to help him become a better version of himself, instead of you being the one who's trying to bring him down or emasculate him or even feminize him to some point. It's completely absurd what's going on in today's world. And talks about, this is usually the example that I think I've seen this online as well, whereby they say, oh, masculinity is toxic until someone breaks into your apartment, and then you need him to become a toxic masculine. Or maybe someone's about to beat you up. You know, so to me, when people are saying about it, and this also boils down to, I don't know if you know this clinical psychologist called Jordan Peterson.
Yeah, I heard.
Yeah, and he said in order to be a man, you have to be a beast. Just like in the Beauty and the Beast, that the girl didn't go for the guy, she went for the beast.
Yeah.
But not just the beast that has himself under restraint, that has himself under control. So it's almost like for you to be a full-fledged masculine, you need to be a beast, but then the beast has to be under control. So when people have this masculinity and they don't have it under control, that is where the problem comes in. You know. But yeah, what were you gonna say?
I understand that, but the only thing is, right, I feel like society is trying to control us men, right?
Yeah, of course. And that's obvious, super obvious.
And I feel like it's just the women's are not, basically, they're not supporting it. They're not supporting us. They're supporting the government. Like, you get it? In that sense, right? Because in order for a man to be considered toxic, basically, right? In order for you to have a toxic man, right, he has to go against the natural norm, basically society, right? Because think about it, right? I've been. Yes, I hear this from Kevin Samuel, from Fresh and Pissed, from all these dating shows, right? Basically, that's supposed to uplift men, right? That in order for you to advance in society, right, you need to control the men, not the women, but the men, right? Because us men, we go out there, we provide, right? And I feel like women, they don't understand what it's doing to us, right? And that's the reason why we're labeled as toxic, because we're going against it, right? Right? But the only thing is, right, when it comes to this topic, I just hope most women understand what we go through, and they're not gonna understand it unless they date other women.
I had this conversation once with a group of ladies and men, and everyone kept hammering and pounding on toxic masculinity.
Yeah.
And they kept saying things about it, how it's evil, how it's bad. And then I asked the question, I said, is there anything like toxic femininity? And no one. And basically when I asked, did you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
Okay, so I asked the question, is there anything like toxic femininity? And I just, what the first impression I noticed was everyone did everything possible to not talk about it, like it doesn't exist. So I was like, am I bugging, or
nah, you're not bugging?
or you just want to talk about it, or you're trying to sweep something on that rug?
Here's the thing: when it comes to social media, right, or the television, right, what do we view women as? The calm, the collective, the peaceful, the loving, the caring, right? And that's the reason why. That's what most people see, right? Right. And that's the reason why there's no such thing as a toxic feminine, right? Because women are always perceived to be this loving, caring person, right? And as men, right, we're always viewed as the aggressor, right? And as long as the media continue to, produce these shows like Love and Hip Hop or something like, some shows that, that shows basically if they produce these shows that shows women, right? Basically, why do you think, right now we view, like, majority of the world view Black women right now as toxic, right? Right? Because we don't see, because of the shows like Love and Hip, all of these shows, right? Because they're produced. I forgot the dude that produced it, right? The man that produced it, the Black man that produced it.
I can't remember his name.
Yeah. But basically, it's a Black man that produced it, right? And he's I think it's Tyler Perry or something, right?
I don't think it's.
But basically, right? Unless we have shows like that are showing the feminist side, right? We're always gonna view them as, these loving, these caring, and all of that, right?
I saw a lady here, Mona Scott Young. It says, Mona Scott Young, best known as the creator of long-running reality franchise Love and Hip Hop. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is we just need shows just to show it, because we always view women as feminines, right? And it's because of the social media, right? But I feel like most people don't see women as it is, because majority of the men, they don't even get women, basically, right? Because only 10 to 20% of men are having sex with women. Straight men are having sex with women, right? And because of that, they don't see this toxic side of feminism. They always see us men because we're always the conqueror, or we're always, viewed as the aggressor, right? And I feel like we just need shows like that just to show the
portray.
Portray the feminine.
Unfortunately, I don't know if you will get those shows, because in the show business, it's all about profit. Whatever brings in more money. And if the face of the lady brings in more money, it's funny how, in one of my, because I'm a film major student, and in one of my film classes, I was taking this class, and one of my professor, I love and respect this man so much, but he said something very profound. And he said, when you are casting an actor, always cast a very beautiful woman. He said, because people just love seeing beautiful women on screen. And that is kind of true, for no reason. And I've seen so many movies with no story, no particular story, to follow, but then they just slap like some beautiful faces on the screen and, throw in some conflicts. And before you know it, that's how shows like Love and Hip Hop, that's how they get into the mainstream, because there's no particular story. It's just conflict, it's just toxicness that they show on the screen. It's just disagreement. It's just like promoting that, yes, conflict is good, not having a relationship is good, being obnoxious and naked all over social media is good. That's just the only thing that it promotes, like, and it's just what sells. That's what it comes down to. They only show what sells. So for us to have a film that would be like based on showing the trueness of true masculinity, it will be difficult. It has to be a story that's well crafted and carefully induced, because if it doesn't sell, no production company will pick it up, because it's all about money to them. They want to make their money back. It's just super. It's crazy. It's crazy, but that's just the way it is. It's all about business.
Yep.
Maybe we could have people that will start financing, looking into that. To me, I believe so much in the truthfulness of a story than the profit that it will make. But at the end of the day, if you're not the one producing your film and the company is sponsoring your film, the company wants to make its money. So they don't care about your truthfulness. They care about
capitalists, bro. You gotta make money somehow, bro.
They care about, can I make my money back? If I can't, this is a bad investment. So that's why sometimes when they put down the money to produce your film, they tell you what to do in the film. It's almost like by the time you're done, the movie is no longer yours, because you're like, they've changed characters, they've changed story, they like take this out, so many things. I was gonna ask you a question about relationship. Man, I got so many things that I would like us to talk about. My head is all over the place. But let me kind of streamline it. What do you think people should talk about, especially when they are dating, like on the attraction phase, and to get the attraction going? Do you think two people that disagree in, let's say, religion, politics, and all this, I think religion and politics are the two main key things, and also maybe like ideology, such as socialism and capitalism. Do you think people that disagree should stay together, should date each other? I'm not even talking about marriage now. Do you think people that disagree should date each other? I don't know what's going on with your camera, though. Your camera is really dark.
Okay, that's fine. The thing is, right, when it comes to relationship, right, this is the problem with relationship, right? I feel like people are not invested in the fundamental aspect of a relationship, right? Mm-hmm. Right now, people consider relationship just having sex, right? People see relationship as having sex, right? But now when they see that their partners choose a particular side or have different political views, right? That's when they start to separate, right? That's the thing. That's the bad thing I think about relationships. Mm-hmm. Right? I feel like relationship, right? Thing, basically, right? Relationship is only viewed as sex, right? Mm-hmm. And when it comes to politics, if the politic aspect comes to it, it always breaks it. Basically, it's always the political side that break apart the relationship.
Well, you think that's a good thing? Like, so for me, now, I think it's so stupid. I don't care what the politics is, whether you're liberal or you're conservative. These guys, the politicians, I view them as, number one, they're liars. Number one, they just lie to seduce the masses, because what they do is seduction on a very massive level. Number two, these people are puppets or actors. They just come and they put up a face for people. Number three, all those politicians, behind closed doors, these guys shake hands. You could see a liberal and a conservative on the screen, vehemently disagreeing with each other. But behind closed doors, they're shaking hands. But then the common people, like us, will watch them, and I'm like, oh, because you're going with this guy, I'm not going to talk to you again. Because you believe in this guy's policies, I'm not going to talk to you. I think it's so dumb that it's to the point where people that are friends for like 5-10 years, they're like, oh, you have an opposing political view and I'm not going to talk to you again. I think it shows how stupid people are.
Yeah, but in terms of that, right, you got to understand something. Politics is everything. People don't realize.
Yeah.
Politics is everything. Whatever you do, your decision, everything falls under politics, right? That's what most people don't understand, right? And I feel like it depends on the person's education, right? Because most couples, like, you can have one person that's invested in political aspect and political things, right? While the other one is not, right? And I feel like that's the only way that they can stay together. One person that has to be politically invested in one thing or the other. The problem with politics, right, is that it controls most people's lives, right? Because you don't understand, most people that are in the lower class or the lower branch in terms of economic, right? They have to understand politics because it's part of their life, right? The decision they make is basically affect the way that they're able to get a job, the way they're able to go to school, and basically like that. And I feel like that's the main reason why politics is important in a relationship, right? It is important, right? But it shouldn't be the reason why you separate them.
Yeah. I completely agree. I agree with what you said. One person in the relationship at least needs to be versed in the political ideology going on or political conditions of the states that you guys live in. At least one of you, or if not the two of you, one of you should be versed in the politics going on. Because it's, like you said, politics is everywhere. It's at your workplace, it's at the school, it's even in the family. Politics, there's politics in everything that we do.
Yeah.
It's just super technical.
Yeah, I totally agree with that.
So I was gonna ask you something about business. We should just talk about business,
Yeah.
I know you do a lot of stuff.
Yeah, I'm working.
It's not always, we don't have a lot of young folks doing things that you do, So what's the motivation behind you doing so many things like that?
What's the motivation behind me doing what?
You're doing this much business, putting so much time in business, and wanting to invest and to do.
I feel like this is the thing. When it comes to education, they don't teach us anything about business, right? You need a business in order to produce long-term growth. Well, basically, right? And the problem is, right, the reason why, like, I'm not gonna say us younger folks are not aware, right? Because they realize, like, the more we understand it, because think about it, most people believe that they only make money by working for someone else, right? But by business, they learn by understanding the business, right? They're able to produce their own wealth, right? Right? But the problem is, when it comes to business, right? Everybody believes that they have a business. And I hate that. You're the shoes for retail, right? You're selling it retail price and you're making more. That's still not a business. A business, nothing is, I'm gonna say this is one quote I had. It's not a real business if the bank don't support it. I'm gonna say it again. It's not a real business if the bank don't support it. And that's what most people don't understand, right? I have a lot of friends that are coming to me, yo, I got this business, I'm selling shoes, why don't you promote it or whatever, right? Or I'm selling this product, why don't you promote it on your Instagram or on your Snapchat or whatever, right? On your social media, right? And majority of the time, I will tell them no, right? Because they always believe this is a business. Everybody believes they have a business. The problem is they don't teach us young folks that you don't have a business unless the bank is supporting it. In order for the bank to support, hire a salesperson, bro, or something like that. Hire a sales representative. Hire somebody that is equipped to handle this side, right? Because they don't teach us this in school, right? And I know most people have family members that they believe that they're just selling this on the low, right? And they consider this as a business. That's not a real business. And people don't understand that, especially us young folks, bro.
Well, how do you get the bank to support your business?
All right, when it comes to that, right? Well, the most thing I would say is have a financial advisor, right? And that's what most people don't understand. Have a financial advisor, right? Or have somebody that understand how to take out a loan, basically, right? Hire somebody. I don't know what's the right terminology for which, like, you know, which profession is good at this, right? But you can have a business coach or a finance coach, right? Hire somebody that it is their job, right? Somebody that you're paying, right? Because it's not a real business unless you're paying someone, right? Because if you're paying somebody and you're giving them your money, right? You want them to produce good, right? When you're giving away your money, right? It's always on the back of your mind because you have to know where your money go, right? Basically, hire somebody that is equipped to helping you get a loan, right? You need a loan. You can use your own money. People keep telling me, yo, I can use my own money, bro. I got $50,000 saved up, right? Okay, let's say you buy the property, it's $50,000, right? Now let's say the ceiling fall down. Where the money coming from? You already used all your $50,000. You don't got no other money, right? What are you gonna do? Ask your cousin? No, they're not gonna give you that.
Your cousin want to invest until you're successful.
Take a loan, pay it off. Yeah, it's just the problem is we just hate spending money. You have to spend money to make money. They don't understand that. You need to spend money to make money. How do you get a credit score? You need a credit card to get a credit score, bro. You need a credit score. And they don't understand the game. That's the problem with business. That's the only thing I have to say about business. Because most people aren't aware. They're ready to start a business. They're ready to call this a business, right? Just because you post it on your Instagram, it's not a business. If the bank don't support you, if you don't have
you're throwing shots at some people,
anybody that's invested. I'm telling you, but I have a lot of friends that are literally calling me constantly. Yo, can you help me promote this, man? I have this business going on. I'm like, no. Get somebody, if you have the money, get somebody who is equipped, right? To help you get a loan and you pay it back in interest. The reason why I say you take the lowest, I mean the longest years when it comes to a loan, right? Let's say you can take a loan for 5 years or you can take it for 10 years. I would rather take the 10 years because every year the interest can go down or low or up based on it, right? You can make more money or you can lose more money based on it, right? Imagine this property is worth $100,000 today, right? Tomorrow it can be worth $70,000, $60,000. In 10 years, 30 years, property can go down, right? But they don't understand it, man. That's the only problem with business, man.
Well, I hope people start learning, start doing good, if not just for themselves. I hope, okay. I was gonna say, you're from Africa, okay?
Yeah.
And now you're in America. Can you do like a quick comparison?
Africa.
A quick comparison, like compare and contrast the African culture alongside the American culture, especially when it comes to cultural, collectivism. And I want you to like shed some light in this because I feel like one of the reasons why people are not super, especially the Black community here, one of the reasons why they're not super successful, especially business wise, is because the Black people here, the Black Americans, they have this mindset of I can do it by myself, I can do it all alone, and this and that. And I know in the African, because I'm African too, that's why I want you to just see if you could throw in some beats that people could just hold on to, because honestly, I feel like people just like, you can't do it by yourself. It's impossible. You can't do it by yourself. You need to have a team that's a team that's reliable. One of the quotes I've heard before is that if your dream requires just you to work on it, then you're not dreaming big enough. You need to have team, people that know things you don't know, people that are smarter than you in this aspect. You know, if you're the smartest guy in your company, you're done, because you can't be the smartest guy in the room. You know, what if things what if you fall apart? That means the entire company falls apart. You know, so
this is what I always say.
Let's do a comparison between African and American culture.
Yeah, the American culture, right? I'm gonna be real with you, right? This is the problem is, right? In America, right? People are able to get the information, right? At the most, right? I feel like it's a lot of information majority of the time, right? Because there's a lot of ways to make money, right? Right? And without having that one person who understand it, or someone, here's the problem. I feel like most people don't realize they always want to be a hustler. Everybody want to be a hustler, right? Everybody want to make money, right? But the problem is they have that mindset of doing it by themselves, right? And now you see, think about it. The richest people that you see now, I would say, are the dumbest people that I know.
Okay.
Right? The richest person, I would say, if I would sit in a room, I would consider them as to be the dumbest in terms of not IQ, but like, you know, in terms of, you know, making decisions, right? But the problem is,
why you say that?
Right? The reason why I would say this is because, think about it. In terms of, let's say, what's his name? I forgot, the guy that created Facebook, right?
Zuckerberg. Mark Zuckerberg.
Yeah, Mark Zuckerberg, right?
Mark Zuckerberg.
He called 5 of his friends, right?
Yeah,
5 of his friends. He told them about Facebook, right? Yeah, only 2 of them showed up, right? Only 2, and now they're worth billions. One of them is making 2.6, the other one is making 2.4 billion dollars, right? Right? Because they're to trust somebody, right? That's the American culture. They're able to trust people, right? But you'll be
I like that.
Problem. Trust. Right? You don't have to be the smartest guy to trust somebody, right? Because the smartest person in the room will be thinking they know it all. That's the problem. They think they know it all. They don't have to read more books. They don't have to understand how the foundation is. They don't have to go through the basic because they're the smartest, right? Right? Have you ever met a person that they ever told them, like, if you ever told them, yo, you're the smartest person in the world, like if you constantly tell them that from a young age, you're the smartest, right? You're better than this, you're better than, and then they end up doing poorly than the rest, right? Because their ego is all the way up. That's the problem with the American culture. In terms of the African culture, right? I have a long list.
Give us the first 3. Top 3 on your list.
I was just speaking to one of my cousins about this morning. I ain't gonna lie. Listen, the thing about Africa, right? I would say me, myself, right? In terms of the amount of money I ever gave from, like right now, I'm 20 years old, right? From 0 to 20 years old, the amount of money I extend to Africa, right? I can accumulate up to, I'll say about 30,000, right? That's the amount of money I given in total, right? 30,000, right? The problem is they only think about the short run in Africa, right? In Africa, I have a lot of coaches. I have a lot of families, cousins, a lot, right? Right? And the thing is, right, they want us to support them, right? Nothing wrong with that, right? You can help your immediate family. You can help your mom. That's there. My mom's in Africa. I send my mom, right? Nothing wrong with that, right? But if you're just helping them and they're not going out there and working themselves, that's going to be a downfall. Because with 30,000, can you start a business with that? Yes, you can, right?
Yeah, especially in Africa.
You can start a business in Africa, right? But no, they don't want to do that. In my country, it's Senegal, right? Majority of the people are going to France. They're going to different countries and they're not starting a business there, right? Because they realize the people that are there, they only focus on the short, right? And that's the problem. I'm telling you, you can start a business. They don't want to start a business over there, right? Because I don't know what it is. This is the black community, the black mindset, what it is, right? In Africa, right? Or what it is, right? They always feel like somebody has to give them something. hey, you my cousin, right? You making $200,000 a year, right? I'm the cousin, man. I'm struggling in this farm, man. Why don't you help me
It
out?
sounds like some people.
$100,000.
We all know people like that.
That's not how this works. You want money, go outside and make a job. You can sell little things. You can sell rice. Nothing wrong with that.
Mm-hmm.
Bro, you telling me, but I'm gonna be real. You telling me if you ain't going outside living in the street, right? You wouldn't go and pick up bottles?
Mm-hmm.
You wouldn't hustle? That's hustling. Mm-hmm. Just sell the little things. You don't have to sell.
I know someone that picks up bottles and brings it to my store where I work at, and I spoke with this guy. He picks up bottles, like trash bottles that people throw away, and he picks lots of it. And it was telling me that in the month he makes $2,200 from picking bottles. That's how much he makes. This guy has houses.
Yeah.
Like, he was telling me a story, and if you see him pushing all these bottles, you'll be like, man, that guy's a poor bastard. But in the real life, when I got to know him, he said he makes up to $2,200 every month just picking bottles and turning them in and getting 5 cents on each bottles.
Where I used to live, right? Surrounding there's a park, right? I met this guy, right? He's a lawyer, right? But on the weekend, this is what he do, right? On the weekend, he picked up bottles, right? And you, like, when you look at him, right? At first, you would think he's one of those, you know, those homeless guys. You ready to give him money? No. Picking up bottles, he has his big tray. At the end of the day, he go home, take a shower, goes performing the work. He's making 2 sources of income. People don't realize there's many sources of income in America, right? That's the difference, right? That's the advantage, because, you know, America is considered the richest in terms of resources and politics, right? But you can also start that at home. That's the problem with Africa. They don't want to start that. They just want to move. I'm not going to say it like, oh, I look like, because I was born there and I came here when I was 8 years old, right? Mm-hmm. Right? And that's the circumstance I am right now, right? My parents gave me here just to get a better education because they feel the job here will outdo the one that's back there, right? Mm-hmm. I understand that, right? And I'm not saying this make me, high and mighty, whatever, right? Nothing wrong with that, right? But what I'm saying is, if you want a business, you can start off from little. They don't want to do that. They're just relying on other people. If you're doing that, right? I'm as a family member, I'm like, oh, that's my family, I help, right? I'm feeling guilty, right? But technically, they're using me, right? If you see it from a psychological point, they're using you, right? They don't want to produce on their own. They're just sucking off your resources. Right? They're using you, right? That's the main reason why I speak to family members in there, right? But I don't call often because I know the more I call, the more they demand. That's how it is.
True.
But in America, we have a lot of resources, right? People are overwhelmed with information, and they need that solid person. They need to be surrounded by solid people, right? Mm-hmm. That they know have this degree, or not degree, but have this advantage in terms of the process, right? Mm-hmm. And they can use their people. But people don't realize friendship, the real meaning of friendship. There's 3 different terms of friendship, right? You can be friends, right? But you can also be friends. Being friends is a mutual benefit, basically, right? Mm-hmm. You give them something, I give you my time, right? You give me some knowledge or something like that, and we continue. Mm-hmm. That's friendship also, right? Mm-hmm. From a business point, that's also too, right? Mm-hmm. Part of being friends, right? Right? Surround yourself with people that you know are smarter than you, right? Not smarter, be that dumb person in the room. That's how you gain more money. You gain more money by being that dumb person in the room, right? Understanding what they know, right? And take that and build your own business, right? Let's say you're working at McDonald's or you're working at a low company, right? Right? Understand how the process works, right? Understand how telemarketing work, how branding work, everything, right? There's a lot of companies, there's people that are advancing that, right? Understand how all of that work and then start your own business. That's how it is.
Facts. Real facts. You just spit out some facts, man. That's a very good place to close this show right now. I was gonna ask you for a final note, but what you just dropped, that's a huge gem. And I think that's a very good place to really stop the show. But before finally ending it, share with us your social media if we want to reach out to you. What's your social media? How do we link up with you? And basically what you do, and if anyone needs any form of
My
help,
social media,
consultancy, or whatever.
my Instagram is Assan_Talla, which is ASSANE_Talla, which is TALLA. That's it. Right? You can see me on Facebook at Prince Assan Talla. Same thing. Prince Assan Talla. That's it.
All right, guys, you heard it. Link up with him, and if you are not yet subscribed to this channel, be sure you click the subscribe button. We love you guys, and thank you for joining us up to this very moment of today's session. Thanks, Hassan, for coming on.
Thank you, man. Thank you for having me, man.
Yeah.